What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the DSUG for the first time in 2 months.
Yeah, weeks and weeks and weeks.
Last one we did was the wrestling podcast. We made it a point to get together tonight because Walking Dead Season 7 premiere. Sad faces all around.
Well, sad faces but happy faces. Walking Dead is back.
Yes.
But
sad and happy at the same time.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, and this might be the last time I get to say this shit, Rob, hit with everything.
Make sure you check out DirtyShoreUnderground.com. New episodes of the podcast will be forthcoming. We're going to get into that a little bit. But make sure you're following at DirtyShoreUG on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's the easiest way to stay up to date with everything that's going on and to kind of keep posted about when new episodes, regular episodes, are going to be back. So make sure you're following at DirtyShoreUG, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, DirtyShoreUnderground.com is where you'll find new episodes, where you'll find all our old episodes. The catalog is fully up there. And of course, make sure you check out youtube.com/C/DirtyShoreUG-OTA. That's the where you can catch all the old episodes in the video format. We're streaming this live on Facebook Live. Welcome, everybody. We have a video recording going right now where I can see the video stream. So if you comment, we'll be able to respond to your comments. Ironically, it'll have about the same lag as we would usually have on YouTube anyway. Yep. So if you have anything to say, make sure you join us in the chat room there. Make a comment and we'll respond to it. But keep posted, keep looking out for new episodes. We got big things coming, so we'll get into that in a little bit. But off the top, The Walking Dead.
Spoilers!
Yes, so here is our general spoiler warning. We are going to be discussing The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 1. Probably a lot from Season 6. Probably a lot from all over the place in the companion of the graphic novels and everywhere. So, if you haven't seen Episode 7-1, but it's certainly the one that just ended, make sure that you stop right here, go watch the episode, and come back.
Unless you're like me and don't mind spoilers.
Unless you don't care about the spoilers. If you don't care about spoilers, then go ahead and feel free, because we're going to be talking about it. So, you said something interesting outside, which was that I think that we did end up calling the deaths, which is interesting. So, my argument at the end of last season was, we know that Negan doesn't kill wounded people, and he doesn't kill women. So it's got to be one of the men. Mm-hmm. Now, who is expendable of the men? I argued that Abraham was the most expendable person.
And I stayed firm on Glenn from the comic books.
Right. So what we find, the base of that being one, Abraham is probably an asset, but Negan doesn't know that. He hasn't seen any of the stuff that Abraham has done before.
I think he thought that he was taking out Rick's right-hand man.
And if you looked at that crew, that would be my guess too. That Abraham is the right-hand man. So, and Negan got into that about how you take out the right-hand man, that weakens Rick and makes him more amenable to being there. But you said Glenn, and I thought that there was the big hashtag Glenn's not dead from earlier in the season. I thought that was a guarantee that he wouldn't kill Glenn, because everybody would be expecting that.
Well, we started that hashtag. That's the bad thing.
Well, we did, yeah. So obviously, if you're watching this, hopefully you've seen the episode and you know that we were both right in a way. We thought that there was only going to be
neither one
death.
of us owe anybody a dollar.
Yeah. So we would have thought that in the end, the prediction was one person. We had the fade out where we knew, bam, oh, look at him. He took it like champ, and bam, bam.
That ended up being Abraham.
Abraham's, yeah.
But if you read the comics, it was word and word from the comics, but it was Glenn that
who
those
actually
words
got
were going to.
Yeah. So I think that one, Negan is a fantastic character, and the gruesomeness of hi Alyssa, welcome to the podcast. I think the gruesomeness of the killing is something about that too, where it's just it's not enough just to kill you. It's wearing down, and Negan did it both times. So also I gotta say, I love how they set up the episode with it being mostly you started out, clearly something has happened, Rick's got blood on his face, and then we are seeing what happens with him and Negan.
It's like a flashback, and it's like with the start of last season, but
which they like to do. They like to drop you directly into the action before you get back to it. So they did that again this season. Flashbacks to the big event. Thank God that they did not drag it out for episodes, because they could have.
And a lot of people thought that they were going to drag it out for at least a couple episodes, and it's a good thing they didn't. I think it would have pissed a lot of people off enough to quit watching, to be honest.
Yeah, but they covered the basis, and now it's like, all through the series, there have been those resets. The farm gets overrun. Now we're on the road, and now we're doing something different. The jail gets attacked. We're on the run again. We're doing something different. So a lot of times that happens at the end of the season. A couple of times that's happened at the end of the season. But instead, this is actually happening at the beginning of the season. So, comment from Corey. Corey, we've been dealing with connectivity all night while we were watching the episode and everything else. So I think internet traffic's just high. Hopefully the video's not too bad. Alyssa, thank you for watching. I'm glad that you enjoy listening, even if you haven't seen a single episode. But on the plus side, it won't be a spoiler, because you have no idea anything.
Unless our conversation makes her want to go watch it.
Yeah, but I will say that I believe that this is a show that you can know what's going to happen just from Facebook posts and everything. And if it's not like I'm waiting for it, then it's not the same spoiler culture.
Hearing about it and then actually seeing it is two highly different things. I've known for 3 or 4 days who was going to die. And watching it was hugely different. Thank you. That was starting to bug me.
Yeah. And if you've never seen it, you go back from the beginning and watch it, even knowing that this is where you're going to get eventually, you can still enjoy the show all the way through. So, so the episode was mainly about, it was only about this circle. It was them in the half circle on their knees waiting, and then Rick and Negan going elsewhere. So, What was your thoughts about that whole Negan breaking down Rick scene?
It was I don't know, it was pretty intense. They had the moment where they were playing it out. They could have took his arm and caught it up with the comic books.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about it just doesn't make sense for TV while it works in comics. It's harder to pull off on TV because you got to pay extra for green screen or find something.
Andrew Lincoln is walking around with green paint on his arm the entire time.
That where they whirl him with the
give him something on the outside. Yeah. It just complicates it, and the son whose name now escapes me. Carl. You see him lose his eye. It's easy to just do what they did this episode. Throw a bandage over it, and it's not green screening. It's not
hit him with the governor.
Right. But by the same token, you can, now that the wound is there, you can have a moment where he's sitting and talking to somebody, and he takes the bandage off, and for like 10 seconds we see the eye, just like we did at the first episode. So I think that it was good of them, and I will say another thing that I called when Carl was laid out with his arm down. I don't know if you knew this story. I realized I probably should have explained the story. Do you know the story of Abraham and Isaac? So God tells Abraham to go sacrifice his son. He takes him up to the top of a mountain, builds an altar, puts his son on the altar, and he's just about to stab his son. And then God says, "No, stop. I just wanted to know that you were willing to do it."
This is one of those religious things.
Yes, yeah. So I said, as soon as I saw him grab Carl and put the pen on his arm, I'm like, he's not going to make him do it. He's just breaking him to the point of saying, if you're willing to do it, fine. Now we know where everybody stands. So I think that it's more good stuff, but it kind of takes a position. I don't like using those religious allegories because they are so predictable. Like, as soon as I saw him pick the son and he was going to have to sacrifice his son, I'm like, okay, so he's not going to actually do that. He's going to stop him. Thoughts, though, on two occasions, The Walking Dead is generally spotless when it comes to setups. But on two occasions, one, Negan got out of the front seat of the car, which meant that the rifle was still there. So Negan was on the opposite side of the RV from the rifle. So Rick could have just grabbed it and shot him if he really wanted to.
But I think he was fearful of the fact that if he shot him, Negan's people, because you don't know how many people Negan actually have, might just go through and wipe out everybody.
And I guess that's the fear altogether. And my other part of that was Negan is like insisting that he pick up the hatchet, and he's there face to face with him while his hand is on the hatchet, and literally he could have just caught him in the head with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, overall, though, I think that it's the more of the Negan is essentially a feudal lord. Like, he doesn't keep people in his close circle. He wasn't telling them, you're going to come live with us. He was saying, okay, now that we understand how things work, you go back home. Yeah, you go back home, and everything you get, I get half of. It's just that easy.
You go home, come back, give me half of your shit. I think it's just Facebook at this point.
I think that it is literally... we had so many connectivity problems watching the episode and otherwise. I think everybody's online.
I mean, this was a big episode.
Yeah. Or or WikiLeaks people are taking on the internet again. Could be that.
Which, by the way, didn't take down the internet. Come on now.
Thank you guys for not taking down the internet during the episode. That would have really sucked. But
it's like they tried to blame them anonymous for that shit too.
But that's neither here nor there. So, but as far as the episode's concerned, we started out. We heard the whole talk from the last episode of last season. They matched that up. It is the same as from the comics, and it's Abraham. What are your thoughts about losing Abraham at this point?
On one sense, I'm okay with it, but on another sense, they made him likable to a point with the comments they didn't make. You know, like Malik.
Yeah.
He just had them random comments and shit. Or when he knocked Eugene's ass flat out, and Eugene just laid there in the road for 2 episodes.
And
it was moments like that that made you love Abraham.
Do you think they were planning on Abraham being the one who got hit?
No, because
okay.
I mean, even the showrunner said when they finished last season, at that point they didn't know who they were killing off.
And they in fact shot death scenes for everybody,
yes,
where
did.
Negan hit everybody. But because it's almost like they made Abraham more lovable at the second half of last season, just in time to kill him this episode. Because most of that witty stuff wasn't from when we first met him. Mm-hmm. It wasn't at the beginning. It was literally the last 8 episodes of last year. Where you're just like, oh man, he is kind of a lovable teddy bear guy, and he's got emotions. He's worried about the 2 girls, and he doesn't hurt the one and go for the other. And it is very humanizing for him. And then Lucio ended all of that.
But he's also the one with military experience. So.
Right. And
again, like that shows why he thought that was the right-hand man. But we all knew it was there.
If you look at that crew, that would be my guess, is that if Abraham's not the leader, that he's the guy that Rick goes to get stuff done. Mm-hmm. But I think that just shows the difference in mentality between Negan and Rick. Rick is just about, like, it's not about brute force, it's about smarts and being cunning and wily, and that's what Daryl is, versus Abraham is like, go that way and don't let anything stop you. And he gets it done. So we knew that there was going to be one death during this episode. But Daryl, unfortunately, can't control himself. And I think that it's probably leaning to what you were saying about you run the risk of killing everybody. Because Negan has now shown that if you lay a hand on me, there are consequences for it. So Abraham is dead, and everybody's worried about it. And Negan really wanted what's her name to look. And I don't get that part. I don't get the part of, like, you need to look at him. Look at him. Look what he did. But, I mean, sociopaths are weird like that, I guess.
You would know, huh?
Yeah. And then so Daryl jumps up, and it's kind of the thing. I don't know if anybody's seen. You've seen the movie 300? No? Oh my God! All right. So in the movie 300, Leonidas
watched it, got bored.
Of course. But Leonidas is the king, and he tells Xerxes that by the end of this, when we're done here, you will bleed. I'll show everybody that a god can bleed. And he knows he's going to die. He knows that it's a bad situation, but he makes one move to try and hurt the Xerxes. And by doing that, showing that he catches him with a spear in the face, and it cuts him, and he bleeds all over the place. So he's like, God, never word. I think Daryl had a little bit of that with the, I just want to get a lick in. I just want to hit him one time, just to show that we're not pussies. We're not just going to stay here. We're not going to take it. And luckily, of all things, Dwight. Is it Dwight?
Dwight. The one that took Daryl's crossbow?
Yes.
And he quickly jumped on top. I was like, let me do it right now.
Just do it, yeah.
Let me do it right now.
But Dwight did him a favor by shooting him.
Yeah.
Because now he couldn't be the one who got killed. Also, though, and here's my question for you, let's say he wasn't shot. Do you think Negan would have killed Daryl for punching him?
I think he would have.
Okay. Any justification?
I think it might have been him instead of Glenn,
Mm-hmm.
but because he don't kill the wounded, because I think to him, if you've gotten wounded, then you're weak all around.
And you're better for me, because now I can control you better.
Yep.
I think that no matter what would have happened, he wouldn't have killed Daryl. Because the message isn't, if you do something to me, I kill you. It's, if you do something to me, I'm going to kill someone. And so, next time Rick gets a little uppity, Rick, what do you say to Rick? I'm going to kill everyone here, and then we're going to go back to town, and we'll kill everyone there, and then I'm going to kill you.
And he said after a few years.
Just to let you stew on it, because that's the whole point. So I think that now the message is clear that, like, Maggie wants to go fight him, and that's great, but he's not going to kill you, Maggie. He's going to kill everyone else and make you live with the guilt that you were the one who caused everybody to die.
I mean, like I said at the end of last season, Glenn had to die. No matter what anybody would say, yes, Glenn was a great character. He had to die for Maggie's story to progress.
Right. And if they are going to keep following the comics, it just reaches a point where you have to do that. And I think that Walking Dead and Game of Thrones are different in that way. Like, Game of Thrones reached the end of the comic, or the novels, and they said, okay, from here on out, we're diverging, and we're going our own way, and we're going to forge that direction, and then whatever happens in the books, happens in the books. It's two separate worlds. This was the scene, this episode was the one where the writers of The Walking Dead decided, do we fully go in a different direction, or do we need to start consolidating this thing and getting it back on track? In the first season, we introduced a character that wasn't in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
He took a role that other people have taken, and those people have been killed off because we didn't need them for anything anymore. If Glenn doesn't die here, the way that he had in the comics, now you have this entire Maggie storyline not playing out the same way that it did.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have Glenn. How does he play in the future? And all of these other characters that are interwoven, you basically have to say, we are abandoning the comic altogether, and we're just going to write our own thing, and then we'll pull characters, we'll pull stories, but we're going to do our own thing.
It could have still worked, but the story that's going to unfold with Maggie, Maggie's got no one left now, except for the baby that is, assuming it didn't...
She's still pregnant, yeah.
After last season, we will find out,
but,
I'm sure.
I mean, I think the other part of that is that I think that she is the part of the motivation for events to come with the kingdom and everyone else. So if she's not upset, if she's not all about killing Negan, we are way off of the comics. And you have to say, we're not going to follow him anymore, or we are. And
at least stay close to it is what they're trying to do.
And they've walked that line of, like, like you said, the speech that was given to Abraham was actually given to Glenn in the comics. So they have all of the key portions, but they just shift stuff around. And Abraham should have died earlier.
That was like the throw off. Who can we kill before we actually kill Glenn?
To throw people off.
People off. It's like at Terminus.
Yeah.
You seen that bat over Glenn's head.
Right.
Before Carol blew shit up. So they kept foreshadowing it. There was no way that he couldn't die, and they teased it at the start of season 6.
Where he disappears for days.
Glenn really wasn't dead.
Yeah.
For 6 months.
But now he is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Now Glenn's really dead.
R.I.P. to Glenn and R.I.P. to Abraham. Sacrifices made. And you gotta say, here's the thing. There is a lot of genius in the way that Negan sees the world and runs his shop. When you meet a new group of people, if it's one person, killing them doesn't do any good. But when you meet a group like that, sending the message that we will tolerate nothing. We don't tolerate this shit. And even the strongest among you, I think we can easily say that he might not always be, but at least at this point, Rick is the strongest of the group. Now, there was parts where he was farming and not, being a killer or anything, and that was one part of the development of his character. But now he is clearly the strongest. That moment around the campfire in Alexandria when Morgan comes in, that is his return to, like, I am who I am. So you have to break Rick. And based on what we saw, you can't say he's anything but broken.
I do think now that he's hit this point, we might actually see him picking up the phone and talking to his wife. Yeah.
So this is going to be another question I had for you. Notice that he saw the walker come out. He saw the walker follow him. The walker stops to eat the brains of his friends, but he doesn't stop.
Nope. I think he's just so broken. He's just like, just go back.
Is he so broken that he's going to be not any good to the group anymore? Not any good as a warrior, at least.
For this season? No.
You think he's coming back? Well, without saying anything that you know otherwise. Well, your thoughts based just on what you saw.
Well, I don't know what all happens,
Mm-hmm.
but I know the character list for the episodes.
Right.
And I know...
Well, just because he's there doesn't mean anything.
As we've seen, he doesn't have to be there to know anything.
Right.
And the way Walking Dead works, some episodes they focus on other characters. I know we see him up to episode 4, and then he disappears for like 3 or 4 episodes, which is probably when they do their individual shit.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I think that at some point we're going to have to bring in Tara, who went off on a trip because she was pregnant and we couldn't have her in the scene. She's going to come back with the 2 people that went with her.
Although it might be the mid-season premiere when she actually makes it back.
Maybe.
She'll come back looking skinnier than she was when she left. Yeah.
We were out there for a couple of weeks. We didn't eat very well. But I think that, yeah, there's a lot of... we don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but there's a lot of change happening.
Carl's missing from a handful of episodes, too.
I have a feeling that he and, what's her name, the little girl, the one that always left, his girlfriend.
Enid.
I think he and Enid are going to have a... Okay, so, number 1, Carl, cut your hair, because you look like a girl, and that's fine, but, it just throws me off when I see it. But I think that he and Enid are going to actually end up running away. Like, what happened with his dad and almost getting your hand chopped off, everything, I think that you just are going to run away at that point. So, I have a feeling they're going to go, and so he disappears for a couple episodes while they're out doing whatever, and he comes back with, like, a chain of ears or something, and he's just like, I've gone out,
Daryl style.
I've come back, and now I am a warrior, and I've protected Enid.
Look, Daryl, if I'm a crossbow.
Right, yeah. Or go kill Dwight and get the crossbow back.
That would be pretty badass.
Yeah. So, one kind of funny but not funny thing. We had discussed how Daryl might be on the chopping block. Yeah. Oh, hey, Eric, what's going on?
What's up, brother?
Thanks for watching. We had discussed how Daryl might be on the chopping block because we know he has another show now. But they found a really convenient way of covering that.
Well, I mean, he also shot the his motorcycle riding episode between the seasons. And in the final episode, he said he had to go back to start filming again, so...
But he's got a lot going on, and now they're talking about Boondock Saints 3, so...
Well, they've been talking about this, and Negan taking him now is a good way for him to not die, but not be seen for the rest of the season, and then at the end of the season, he comes back.
You see him often again, where it's like he flies to Atlanta, he does an episode, he's out, or they shoot all of his stuff all at once, because I guess for Boondock Saints he's going to have to cut the hair. So, but
well, maybe, because remember Boondock Saints 2, they had long hair.
Yeah.
And then they cut it off, and they're like, why the fuck did we cut it off? We look like Jesus as shit.
Yeah. But I think that it opens up possibilities for him if he has something else to do. I also understood that Stephen Young, who plays Glenn, is a director and a producer, and he's got a bunch of opportunities, so I'm sure he was okay with going. And it's like, it's sad, but there's real-world reasons for the motivation behind these things, I think. So, but they did take Daryl, they put him in the back of a truck, and then you just shoot Daryl in the back of a van or in a cell for, you shoot
a couple episodes, because it don't have to be every episode.
And then he just pops up.
I mean, how many times have we went 3 or 4 episodes and seen no Daryl, and then he just pops in,
up again? Yep.
Kills a raccoon, dinner.
Yeah.
And then that's it. That's all you got to do.
So, what are your thoughts about the episodes that are coming, the next few of them?
I think it's going to be an all-around rough season, to be honest with you. Obviously, we know that Rick's at some point going to try to defy Negan.
It's inevitable, yeah.
Probably going to be closer to the end of the season, though. Because I think it's probably going to take probably 12 or 13 episodes for
You
him
mean
to get his
so-
head right.
The end of the second half, because they break it
Yeah.
up into two.
Yep.
So the end of the
8 and
spring.
8.
Yeah. I think that's probably a good guess. I feel like this 8 episodes in the first arc is going to be all about restructuring. We saw in the preview Rick going back to Alexandria and saying, I'm not in charge anymore. Things are changing. This is how we do. I feel like that's going to split the crew down the middle. There are going to be people who follow Maggie who say, let's kill them all.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's going to be people who just want to survive, and they'll follow Rick. So
I think it's a high chance that we're still going to be seeing Negan in season 8. That's why it was renewed for an 8th season before the premiere show tonight.
Well, and the buzz about it was big, but also my guess is that they know where they want to go with the story.
Yeah.
So that's good, especially because it did seem when we ended season 6 that they were like, so we are basically starting over again, and we're going to decide what happens from here. And they did a great job. So hopefully that'll continue into season 8, which will be the fall of 2017 and the spring of 2018. If they stay on the same
It's worth noting, Kirkman once said that he knows how he will end the comic books.
Right, yeah.
But he will not tell AMC because it's for the comic book only.
Right,
They have to come up with their own way to end the series.
So I mean, but the thing is, I think we talked about this before. The Walking Dead could go off and just continue to go because Abraham was introduced to us in season 5, second half of season 5, first half of season 6.
No, it was season. I think it started season 5, ended season 4, maybe.
Maybe
It was right after Terminus.
Yeah. So I mean, he was a latecomer, but we were just like, oh, Abraham, like it makes sense. It logically, I know that you were the one to do it because of everything else, but you miss him. You like him as a character. We are down to 3 remaining people from the original crew,
3.
which Carol, even though she's off somewhere.
4. Okay, that's 4 then.
So you're adding her. So Rick,
I forgot all
about Carol. Yeah, she's off.
You know why? Because she wasn't in the lineup.
Right. Morgan.
5.
Okay,
I
Morgan,
forgot him too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Morgan,
5.
Chase, and Carol, and they've made contact with the Kingdom now. But so we have Carl and Rick.
Yep.
Daryl, Carol, and Morgan. And Morgan wasn't really so much in season 1. It was that first.
He was in an episode,
and then he came back in season 2.
You had Rick talking to him through the walkie-talkie. Then it shows up for an episode.
Yeah.
And then you don't see him. Then it shows up.
But we can call him an original, I think, because he was there in season 1.
Yep.
So that means of the crew of 10
people that were there in the season 1, there's 5 left.
Yeah. But our crew is 12 to 15 people that we are invested in their storylines, and we want to know what happens to them. So the great thing about that is you can see of the original 10 from season 1,
probably a little bit more than that. Because
a
couple decided to commit suicide at the what the fuck, the C&D? Is that what it was called?
C&D.
Well, what was that building called? Where they were at the end of season 1?
The CDC.
There you go.
Yeah.
The CDC.
So I guess that's true because we did lose a lot of them there. But I mean, there is such a diverse cast that we are invested in their stories, and I think Daryl is the key. You could even lose Rick at some point as long as Daryl's still alive. I think the story continues, and he's going to go at some point. But really, this is the kind of show that because it's ensemble, you can lose people and gain people, and the show could just keep going. And it may just reach a point where Kirkman says, all right, I'm ending the comics. You guys do whatever you want to do. If you want to do it for season 25 of The Walking Dead, and I have a feeling people would still watch. If
they could keep it interesting, I could see it. I mean, Kirkman always said that he started the comics is because the worst thing he hated about zombie movies is the fact that they ended. He wanted to know what happened over time with these characters.
Right.
Being stuck in this apocalypse, and we're seeing that now.
And keep in mind, they are like 300 miles from where they started. There's a lot of the world left. We know that there's stuff going on the West Coast because we followed that with Fear the Walking Dead. So like there is a lot of story to tell. And I mean, basically, when they end it, it will be because they choose to. I think not because of any other reason. So looking forward to the rest of the season. Though I think it'll be good. And we'll have to see where things go. I mean, And another thing I was going to say about this episode, you cannot say that Walking Dead holds back anymore.
Hell no.
Because it was violent and...
I mean, it opened up and we seen the blood dripping. We both were like, oh, he already killed somebody. Yeah. And even though I read the shit and seen the shit, some of the shit, I'm just like, okay. And then we seen the other shit, and then we seen him just turn and blink.
But we saw the impact on Abraham. We saw the gruesomeness of it. We saw the impact on Glenn.
That
Glenn's
eyeball,
like
those were some good effects.
Great effects.
They put some money in that one.
And people who had said it hasn't been gruesome enough.
And it didn't even look like CGI. That looked like he took the prosthetic and everything. It was probably 12 hours sitting in a chair for one scene.
But we also are seeing that the zombies are decomposing. They're looking even older now, I feel like, than they have in previous seasons. So we're seeing that progress.
I don't know.
Things are going to get gruesome.
Fear the Walking Dead spoiling me because I'm jumping back and forth from seeing fresh zombies. And then I'm turning around and I'm seeing zombies that have been decaying for
a year,
somewhere around 3 years.
3 years, yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of exciting stuff to come. So we're definitely worked up about that. And make sure you guys are following along and watching the video. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and you can ask away. But otherwise, is there anything else from this episode you want to talk about?
I think we covered everything.
All right. So while we're here today, though, we do want to talk a little bit about what's going to happen. So for any of you that follow the Anthem podcast, you know that Corey and I are going to be moving out west. We are moving to California in probably about 2 weeks now. Yeah. So that's happening. But
you don't want to take me with you.
Hey, listen, if you got 10 grand, you can come with us. So
what do I need 10 grand
to get out there?
I just got to get there. I don't take 10 grand to get there.
Well, then you could fly out there.
Hitchhike it.
You could hitchhike it. But so
let me sleep in a car when I get there.
I got no room in my car at all. Oh, you mean once you get out there?
Yeah.
Forgot. Well, get an apartment. Live like a normal person.
Why would I want to do that?
Rent is only $2,900 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment.
I'm not becoming a gay porn star to afford that. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure that they would have you anyway. But so you guys know we are heading out west, which means that we, amongst other complications, I won't be here to do the episodes anymore. And as much as I'd like to do them by Skype, I don't think it has the same feeling as somebody in the room having the talk. So, Kenny, how are we dealing with that?
Looking for a co-host. Me and my brother Eric have been talking about slinging things. Still trying to work out a way to do things for a live stream because everybody's been used to a live stream. So
this seems to be working pretty well. I don't know if this is a bad idea.
I mean, we're not getting the comments that we typically get, but I mean, people are still watching it, and that's always a plus. So I always like the live streams, and if I can help it when it's Walking Dead season or Fear the Walking Dead season, when you can catch up, if we could have you Skype in, and just have TV set up, and put your picture, your face on the screen.
As shit. Let me tell you that. Corey and I have tried that.
It is very complicated, but if there's a way that we could do it, just so he could join us for an episode here or there for, if nothing else, Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead, because it's always been some of our biggest ones. Obviously, you got 30 million people that watch every weekend. So
you're looking for a new co-host.
Yes.
And so you're kind of taking interviews and you're working with people and trying to figure it out. So if you have ever wanted to be on a podcast, if you like listening to the Dirty Show Underground, if you want to be a part of it, if you think you have something to say, let Kenny know at Dirty Shore UG on all your social networks. I think it's dirtyshoreunderground at gmail.com.
Yep.
Dirtyshoreunderground at gmail.com. Shoot me an email. So we're looking for somebody to keep this process going so that we can get new episodes out to everybody. So there's that.
Rob leaving's going to be sadder than Glenn taking a bat to the head.
I don't know if it's that sad.
It's sad.
Well, I'm just like Glenn. I won't be back ever again. So
you're a liar. You'll be back.
But so if you're interested, let us know. If you know somebody who would be interested, let us know. And of course, just go ahead.
When you come back, the calls better be out.
The calls will be out probably in the spring. That's what we're looking at, spring now. So
if it's not out in spring, I want a free copy.
But you're not gonna buy it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
You know damn well about that one. I've been waiting for that one for a year now.
But and just let me say, as one of the founding members of the network, we are always looking for new ideas. So if you have an idea for a podcast or a show or anything else, let us know. You can email Corey at otheanthem.com at CORY at otheanthem.com. Send it to dirtyshow_underground@gmail.com, and we'll forward it on from there. But we're always looking for new stuff. So
follow all the shows.
And make sure you follow all the shows. Anthem Alliance, AnthemAlliancePodcast.com, at Anthem Alliance on all your social networks, and at OD Anthem on all your social networks, ODAnthem.com. We also have new merch up there, so make sure you check that out. And of course, at Dirty Shore at Dirty Shore UG on all your social networks. And DirtyShoreUnderground.com is where you can find new episodes. Hopefully, we'll have even more episodes coming soon. So,
and until we have something permanent, I will still do live streams and stuff through Facebook.
There you go.
Next Friday night, I will be at ACW, which you've heard us talk about.
Right.
This will be the third time that I've been to one. First time without you being there, too.
Yeah.
But I will actually be able to live stream shit, so...
So make sure you're following at Dirty Shore UG on all your social networks to get the live stream. And of course...
ACW's first ever casket match.
I was going to say, it's going to be big. So you've heard us talk about it before, but the ACW match is going to be a Halloween theme with a casket match. They have James Ellsworth from WWE will be in the building, so you'll get to see him. You'll get to see Russell the Love Muscle. He'll be there. Kendrick versus Louis G, I think, is the casket match, so that'll be interesting.
And he owes him for that shit where he got the date with the girl.
There you go. So, if you are in Denton, anywhere on the mid-shore, make sure you check that out. It's Saturday night.
Friday night this time.
Friday night, doors at 7.
Yep.
Bell's probably around 7:30. You can get tickets from Russell, as you always can, or contact Kenny here, and he can get together with Russell to get tickets. Come on out, see, it's good family fun entertainment, and then of course if you can't make it, you'll be live streaming on the Dirty Shore Facebook page. So, anything else?
I think that's it. Sadly enough, man, I'm glad for everybody that's joined us tonight. I'm happy anybody watches it later. Thank you. It was a lot to just. We've been planning on doing this for a couple weeks to try to do at least one more episode, and I'm glad we got to do it tonight because tonight was a big night with Walking Dead and everything. So.
Definitely. So, and make sure you stay tuned because there is new stuff coming from Dirty Shore Underground. And of course, if you want to be part of the show, DirtyShoreUnderground@gmail.com. So, otherwise, without anything else to say, possibly for the last time, have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.